So today I am so excited, as you can probably tell from the title. I have a big secret and, more importantly, a big surprise to share with you guys, and I've been hiding this from you for weeks and weeks, and maybe a few more weeks. It has been so difficult not to say anything over the last few weeks and not to post any kind of photos that might reveal anything or talk about anything that I shouldn't be talking about just yet, but I couldn't tell you guys straight away, and there's a big reason for this. I will explain later in the video. I'm gonna have to explain some backstory to this so you can sort of understand why it's happened and what the big surprise is and why, basically, what's going on. So please bear with me, please do me one huge favour and watch the video all the way through before leaving a comment. Otherwise you're going to have so many questions, it's going to make everything so confusing, and it's definitely going to make future videos confusing. So please watch the video all the way through. I would really appreciate it. I'm going to go into the backstory that leads up to this surprise now. I'm going to try and explain it as quickly and as easily as I can, so bear with me. So this entire fiasco started way back at the end of February, and I didn't want to say anything just in case nothing came of it, and also just to make sure everything was going okay before I said anything. But basically, many of you are aware, especially if you're on my Instagram, that my mother owns quite a few cats. Now, all my mother's cats are spayed and neutered except for one cat, which is Sushi, and she went to have her operation to be spayed, and unfortunately there were some complications and it made her ineligible for the operation, and it meant she had to be brought back home and she'd have to go back to the vet a few weeks later in order to have the operation done. So during that time she was of course kept inside the house to prevent her from being caught by the Toms and obviously getting pregnant, which is what nobody wants to happen. So she was kept inside the house. She was kept in the utility room, which joins onto the kitchen. She was kept in there with a litter tray and a bed and food and all the stuff she needs, and she was quite happy and quite content. The plan was that she was going to stay in there until she was eligible for her operation, and she was in there for quite a few weeks, and she was happy and content, and you know, there were no problems whatsoever. She was a lovely cat, very calm, very relaxed. Didn't bother her at all. During the time that she was in her own personal quarantine, the mating season started, and if any of you live in an area with unneutered tomcats, you'll know what I mean, because during the cat's mating season, the Toms go around the streets wailing and wailing, making this horrible sound to try and attract the females, and the females tend to howl back as well, and it's all a bit loud and weird. The local unneutered tomcats were chasing my mother's spayed female, Ebony, and they were coming into the garden, and the dogs are trained to chase them out again, but they were still coming into the garden and annoying the cats and annoying the dogs. And unfortunately, they also started to annoy Sushi, who was in her utility room, but there's a window on the back of the utility room that allows her to look out and basically see everything that's going on, and she could easily hear the tomcats who were wailing. So during that week, she was making an awful racket. She desperately wanted to get out of that room and go and see those tomcats, and it was really annoying and really just awful. It was quite stressful, really, and distressing to see her in that state, but for her own good, she of course had to stay in the utility room because otherwise she'd end up pregnant. Now, when we need to enter into the utility room, what we had to do was close all the kitchen doors and windows and then open the utility room door. That way, if she came out, she'd come into the kitchen, she wouldn't be able to go anywhere else, and it would be fine. So that was the way it was supposed to be, to keep her safe and indoors. One day, during the mating season week, 2 weeks, however long it lasted, somebody decided to go into the utility room, and I will not name names because they know who they are, without closing either it was a kitchen window or a kitchen door or something, and the utility door was opened, and of course Sushi shot out, and normally she'd be then in a contained room, but she wasn't, and she got outside, and that was not fun. It was possibly one of the scariest situations ever because we had to get her back in, and there were 4 of us chasing her around the streets for about an hour, trying to keep the tomcats away. We were taking the dogs with us and getting them to chase the Toms, sending them after them, just trying to protect her even if we couldn't get her back, but ultimately trying to catch her and get her home again. The problem is we live in a very rural village, and that means there's loads of fields and hills and bushes and trees, and there's the drainage system, which is for when we have the big heavy rainfalls in the winter, and there's a huge drainage system that the cats can go down, but we can't go down. And so there were so many places that she could go and hide, which made it really difficult. But it took about an hour for us to finally catch her. I was the one who finally got her. I had to climb through a rubbish heap to get to her. She was asleep on a wall in a building site, and I had to climb over these things. I got a puncture in my foot from a really spiky plant that was in there, and I had to sneak up on her and just sort of grab her and run with her. So we got her home, got her in her bed, got her in the utility room, locked up, done. But of course the saga did not end there. Now, she'd been out of the house for an hour, and we were all very aware that there were moments, although we tried our best to keep our eyes on her, there were moments where she got out of our sight, or where the tomcats were out of our sight, and there was a very small chance that she could have been mated with and she could be pregnant. So then there was this big worry of, is she pregnant? Now, my family has dealt with pregnancies in cats loads and loads and loads in our history. We've rescued tons of cats. In fact, I think the vast majority of our pets are rescue animals. And when I was a young teenager, we used to take in the stray cats. There's loads and loads of stray cats in Cyprus, tons of them. They outnumber humans, probably 3 to 1. But there's so many of them, and we used to take them in and look after them. And we also used to take in stray pregnant females, and we'd bring them into our home, we'd look after them, give them the diet that they need to, prepare for their pregnancy, all the prenatal care they needed, and then help them raising their litter, make sure their litter had a good start to life. And we went through all that a couple of times. So we have had lots of experience with kittens and cats and litters and things like that. So that wasn't what worried us, because we know what we're doing. If she had a litter, it would be a case of just doing what we always did. We know exactly how to care for them. We know exactly what to expect, what to do in an emergency, and all that stuff. We're very well experienced with that. What we didn't want, what we were scared about, was the idea that she was pregnant, because of the fact there's so many stray cats in this country, and there really doesn't need to be more added to that population. Then it was a case of playing the waiting game, because Sushi was still not eligible for her operation, and there was a small chance that if she became eligible before any signs of pregnancy showed, that we'd be able to get her done and no one would have to know if she was or wasn't, and it would be a bit more peace of mind and everything would be okay. But unfortunately, just a few weeks before she became eligible for the operation, it did start to show. When she was about 4 weeks gone, it was very early on in the pregnancy, so she was pregnant. She did have kittens growing inside her, and yeah. So there my mum was, with a pregnant cat, and we were unsure at first. We thought maybe she could just be having a phantom pregnancy. She's had one of those in the past, and we thought maybe she could be having another one. So we kind of just, kept our hopes up for that for the time being, and just waited for the weeks to go on until she was eligible for the operation. And when the date came around where she could finally go in for it, by that point it was more than obvious that she was pregnant. She was really big. Her mammaries had grown. She had started eating way more and demanding food way more often. It was more than obvious that she was pregnant. So then, of course, there was the option of having a cat abortion. I know there's many people who aren't aware that cats can have abortions, but they absolutely can. If you are in a financial situation where you can't support kittens, or if you don't think it's going to be safe for your cat to have kittens or anything like that, if there's a good reason for having the kittens removed, you can send the cat to basically have a spay operation. And what they do is they open her up, they remove any kittens inside her, then they do the spay operation, close her back up, and everything's done, and that's kind of how it goes. The only time my mother would ever let that happen was if she was unaware that the cat was pregnant. Because of the fact she was fully aware the cat was pregnant, we were all aware of it, we'd all been watching her, we all knew. She couldn't bring herself to do it. She couldn't bring herself to, basically have those kittens removed and essentially killed. And so it was decided that Sushi would be allowed to continue with her pregnancy and have her kittens, and that's exactly what happened. So then Sushi went into full prenatal care mode, and she had all her extra meals, and she was eating lots of extra meat and stuff, things to help her build herself up. You don't want to feed them too much when they're pregnant, because there's always the risk that the kittens will get too big and they'll have a difficult time delivering them. So we kind of had to keep the balance in between helping her gain some healthy weight and not letting her get too big. We also set up a birthing area for her, and that was just a little cat carrier with some blankets and fleece and stuff inside, and that was put underneath a table just so she could be safe in there, so she didn't feel threatened, somewhere she could have her kittens and feel that they were protected. So everything went to plan, everything went great, she was growing well, and she seemed to be getting really, really big, and we started having bets on how many kittens she was going to have. I think I bet that she would have 4, and I think Dan said she would have 6. I'm sure my mum said she would have about 2 or 3. So we're all making different bets, and everything went great. She was doing really, really well, so healthy. And then, on April 24th, 2014, Sushi gave birth to a beautiful litter of 3 kittens, and oh my goodness, you will not believe how sweet these guys are. They are so healthy. I mean, like I've said, the experience we've had in the past with kittens have all been with stray litters, mothers that have been underfed their entire lives, and the fathers were probably underfed as well, and then she's underfed during her pregnancy, and then we took her in and fed her, and the kittens came out and were healthy and all that, but they were always very small and usually had quite thin coats. They were almost pink when they were born. These kittens, when they were born, had a full, thick coat. They were huge things. They looked like they were already about 2 weeks old. They were massive things. And so beautiful. So everything went great. They came out really healthily. There were 2 kittens born first thing in the morning, and that all went smoothly. And then we realised there was another kitten left inside her. You could feel it. If you felt around, you could feel sort of the lumps and bumps on her. And there was one more kitten left to go. And then it was just a case of the waiting game and hoping that she was going to give birth safely. If she didn't give birth within 6 hours, she would have to go to the vet for possibly a cesarean or just some, drugs to help her along with the pregnancy. Thankfully, we got to the 6-hour marker, and a few minutes after she hit 6 hours, she gave birth to the 3rd and final kitten. So it was very late behind the others, but it came out very healthily, very happy, squawking away, and they're all so healthy. And we're so pleased that everything went well. Considering it wasn't supposed to happen, considering we didn't want it to happen, we are just so happy that nothing went wrong. So that was 5 weeks ago. The kittens are now 5 weeks old already. It's unbelievable. I have so many photos of them. Don't worry, you haven't missed out on it. I just didn't want to share the fact that they were here until I knew they were going to be okay. I wanted them to get to that 4-week marker so that we knew they were healthy, they developed right, and they developed at the right time. And everything was going okay, and I didn't want to jinx it by saying anything too soon, so I had to keep it a secret from everyone except for one person, Animal Mad Kate. She knows because I had to tell her because I love you, Kate. So they will be exactly 5 weeks old on this Thursday. I'm not sure what day this video is going up, but whatever day it does go up, the Thursday of this week, that's what day they turn 5 weeks old on. They have developed amazingly well. They all started opening their eyes on time. The last kitten born opened his eyes about 4 days after the first 2. The first 2 were both girls, the last one was a boy. And so he started opening his eyes about 4 days after the girls opened theirs. So he was a little bit later. The girls started toddling first. He started toddling a few days later. They started purring before him. They basically did everything first, but they all about did it in the right time, in the right time scale. This week, they're already drinking water from the bowl now. They have little sips here and there, but this week they are just starting to take an interest in solid food, so they're still on their mother's milk at the moment, but hopefully by the end of this week, starting next week, they will have started tasting solid food and they'll start weaning off of their mother. At this point, Sushi is now eligible to have her spaying operation. Of course, she cannot have it until she has weaned her kittens. So as soon as they are weaned, as soon as all 3 of them are on solid foods, she is going straight for that operation. It is basically pre-booked for her. She's going for it. And as soon as the kittens reach 4 months old, they will be going to get their operations done as well to prevent them having kittens. We strongly believe in spaying and neutering the animals that can be spayed and neutered to prevent unwanted babies. So they will be going for their operation as soon as they're old enough, which for our vet, it's the same vet who sees Jack, which is awesome. But this guy will do it for an amazing price, and he's going to do it when they're 4 months old, which is kind of the earliest you can do it. Some vets over here won't do it till they're 6 months old, and that's just taking too much of a risk for us, so we're getting them done as soon as physically possible. So yeah, I think that's the entire backstory there, and now I guess it's time to reveal the huge surprise to you guys. Now, of course, I'm sure some of you are wondering what's going to happen to these kittens, where are they going, because, they obviously need homes. Well, One kitten was decided for before they were even born. As soon as we realised she was pregnant, one kitten was already decided for. The other two, of course, need homes as well, and what's going to be happening is they're going to be staying with my mum. They're going to be her cat. She's going to keep them. We don't believe in putting animals in rescues. If you are the reason they're in this world, especially with accidental litters, then they are your responsibility for the rest of their lives, whether that means getting them a really good full-time home that they're going to live in for the rest of their lives, or whether it means keeping them. Rescues are not an option for putting animals in, not for our family anyway. So those two kittens are staying with my mum. They're going to be joining her little herd of cats that she's got. And the last little kitten, which happens to be the little boy, is the one that was already spoken for before he was born. He was already found a home for. And that little guy is going to be joining our little family. Cats are incredibly affordable to look after in Cyprus. They are so cheap. Seriously, his neutering operation is going to cost an entire 20 euros. 20, that's pocket money. That also includes anti-inflammatories, painkillers and aftercare, as well as a night in the vets to make sure he's okay after the operation. For 20 euros, that's awesome, but that just shows you how affordable cats are in this country. And I love cats. They are one of my favourite animals, whether it's a big cat or a small cat. I love them. If I was reincarnated as any animal, I would definitely be a cat. I feel like I can sort of, you know, connect to them more because they're, you know, they're quite independent animals, but they're also very much, I'll do it my way and I'm not listening to you, which is kind of like me, really. I am so excited. This little guy is so cute and amazing and wonderful. A perfect personality, and I can't get over him. He has my heartstrings already. I'm in love with him. He's amazing, and seriously, you guys, and this is the best bit, and I know everyone's going to be asking this, yes, it does mean that kitten care and cat care is coming to the channel. There will be cat care videos on the channel starting very soon, because the one big thing is the fact that we have Jack, who is a house rabbit, and we have a cat who, when we move into our own apartment, is going to have to be a house cat because it's an apartment. So they're going to be living in close proximity to each other, pretty much in the same area, so we do have to introduce them to each other, and we've started the introductions already, and that means I will be doing a video on how to introduce kittens to rabbits, because I think it's very important when you've got prey and predator living free range in one home. So you're probably screaming at your screens now for me to actually show you the kittens, and of course I'm gonna do that, but I had to make you wait till the end. That's how it works, come on. The kittens are downstairs at the minute in their utility room with their mother in their little playpen area. They've got an entire area caged off for them. A nice big space because they've just started playing, and they're really excitable and really playful and really naughty as well. So they've got a nice big area. I will go and collect the kittens and bring them back up here to show to you guys. You're gonna love them. I'm back. I've got the kittens with me. Sorry, I'm so excited. I love kittens so much. I don't know if you can hear them. They're squeaking away down here. They're in a little box, and there's the dog barking. I don't know if you heard that either. But anyway, they're so cute. So I'm going to show them to you in order of oldest to youngest, and we're going to start out with this little lady. Look at her! Isn't she the prettiest thing ever? Yeah, yes you are. You're beautiful. This is Mackerel. Technically Mackerel the second, but it's still Mackerel. She is a beautiful... Yes, you're squeaking, I know. She's a beautiful tabby cat. They're all medium haired, these kittens, which is so cute and fluffy. She looks like a porcupine though. Not sure why that is. She's really spiky and wiry, but she also has these ginger patches on her, and she is the most playful of all of them. She is such a mischief maker. She makes so much trouble. Their mum has just come into the room now to have a nose at her kittens. She's such a mischief maker, but she's so pretty. And you got the prettiest of faces. You're too big for me to hold like this anymore. Yes, you are. So next up we have Saffron, and this little girl is stunning. She's also medium haired, but her hair isn't as wiry. And she is a ginger slight tabby. She's a ginger and white though, and she is the loudest of everyone. She makes it known if you're in the room and she wants your attention, she'll let you know about it, because she squeaks and howls and howls and squeaks, and she makes so much noise. Mwah. And she's beautiful, aren't you? Yes, you're the most beautiful. Mwah. I love you. Mwah. And finally, the little guy that you're all going to have to get used to seeing the face of. This is little baby Bertie. Say hello, Bertie. I don't want to say hello, I'm shy. Bertie is the kitten that was born 6 hours late. He is the runt of the litter. He was the slowest to develop. He is also medium haired, and his colour is fawn and white. As you can see, it's like a very light, almost yellowy colour. It's not ginger. It's kind of, you know, a beigeish yellow kind of thing. And he's beautiful, aren't you? Yes. And he's the quietest of the entire litter. He likes to, you know, sleep and cuddle, and he's very, very sweet. He's very small compared to his sisters, but he has a little heart of gold, and you can't help but love him. As you can see, I can hold him in one hand, whereas the other two, I can't really hold them like that anymore. Oh, that was a big kitten yawn! Oh. So, like I say, he has started being introduced to Jack already. Jack doesn't mind him. He was a little freaked out by him at first, but he doesn't mind him anymore, which is really, really good. That's the kind of behaviour you want to see from him. Big kitten yawns. And Bertie is sort of more interested in cuddling up with Jack, which at the minute is not safe for him to do because he's very small and Jack is very, very big. Of course, Jack has big, powerful back legs and he could easily kick and hurt little Bertie. So Bertie can't spend too much time with Jack, and he certainly can't be unsupervised with Jack at the minute because I'm more worried about Jack hurting him than the other way around. But as Bertie gets older and he gets bigger, he will of course be spending more time with Jack, and eventually when he is fully grown, he should be used to living with Jack, and he should be completely harmless to him. They should be harmless to each other, and they should, fingers crossed, get along great. And I think he has the perfect personality for living with other house animals, so I think everything's gonna go alright. Don't you? Yeah? Oh, you're so pretty. Yeah, don't give me that face. Don't give me that face. Doot, doot, doot. Doot. Boop. You're so pretty. So either this week or next week I will be putting up a slideshow video of all the photos I took of the kittens since the day they were born right up until now. You'll also start seeing videos of all of the kittens as well as just Bertie on his own, and like I say, there will be kitten care videos coming to the channel, so I'm super excited about that. Are you gonna play? No? What's that sound? Uh-oh. He's my baby. I love him. This little guy is going to fit in so well with our little family, and it definitely rounds off our family for now, because now we have 2 hamsters, a rabbit and a cat. I think that's plenty of animals for us, and they all are just wonderful and lovely, and I'm so blessed to have all these wonderful animals in my life. Yeah. Oh, you know you love me. Yes, you do. Mwah. Yes, you do. I don't even care if you smell, because I just love you. Mwah. I have to lean right back or he's gonna fall off of me. So anyway guys, thank you for sticking around for this probably quite long video. I'm not sure. It's taken me over 30 minutes to film it, so let's see how long it is after editing it. But I hope you've enjoyed the, well, I hope you enjoyed the interesting news. Of course, it wasn't planned, it wasn't necessarily something we wanted, but now the kittens are here. You can't regret them. Ooh, that was a loud noise. You don't make noise, what was that? Now the kittens are here, there's no way we can regret them, and I love Bertie, and Dan loves Bertie, and one day Jack will love Bertie too, and they will be brothers from another mother and species, and everything else. Hello? You cross. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the video, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and we will see you very, very soon. Bye bye, guys.